High Admiral Vexthor stood aboard the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his flagship and pride of the Kraxan Empire's Third Fleet. His four-fingered hand traced the tactical display as thousands of warships emerged from hyperspace above the blue planet called Earth. The Empire had conquered 17 systems in the past decade alone. This would be 18. High Admiral, we're detecting a transmission from the planet's surface, announced First Lieutenant Kira, her scaled head tilting slightly as she processed the incoming signal. Display it, Vexthor commanded, his voice carrying the weight of centuries of Imperial authority. The holographic projection materialized before him, showing a human female in a pristine white uniform, adorned with gold insignias. Her expression was calm, almost eerily so. "I am Fleet Admiral Regina Torres of the Earth Defense Force. You are entering restricted space. Our sensors have analyzed your fleet's capabilities. This is not a threat, but a warning. Turn back now, or face the consequences of your aggression." Laughter erupted across the bridge. Even Vexthor allowed himself a small smile. The audacity of these primitives was almost admirable. Their planetary scans had shown minimal orbital infrastructure, no significant space fleet, and technology levels far below the Empire's standards. "Your courage is noted, human," Vexthor responded, "but the Kraxan Empire does not retreat. Submit to Imperial rule, and your species will be granted protectorate status. Resist, and we will take what we want by force." Admiral Torres's expression didn't change. "You've made your choice then. Remember, we warned you." The transmission cut off. Vexthor turned to his tactical officer, launched the first wave. Standard conquest protocol. 500 warships broke formation, descending toward Earth's atmosphere. Their weapons charged, ready to target military installations and government centers, the Empire's tried and true method of subjugation. "High Admiral," Kira called out, her voice carrying an unusual note of concern. "I'm detecting energy signatures. They're unlike anything in our database." Before Vexthor could respond, points of light appeared around Earth's orbit. They looked like stars at first, but quickly resolved into structures that somehow hadn't appeared on their scans. Massive platforms materialized, their surfaces covered in what appeared to be weapon ports. "Impossible," Vexthor whispered. "Their cloaking technology shouldn't be this advanced." The platforms came to life simultaneously. Beams of coherent energy lanced out, each one striking with perfect precision. Ships of the first wave began disappearing. Not exploding, not breaking apart, but simply ceasing to exist as the beams touched them. 50 ships lost. Kira shouted. 100, 200. Vexthor's mind raced. The Empire's shields were based on deflection technology, designed to redirect energy weapons away from their ships. But these beams weren't being deflected. They were passing through the shields as if they weren't there. "Pull back the first wave," he commanded. "Launch all fighters. Target those platforms." Thousands of fighter craft poured from the hangars of the remaining ships. They streaked toward the defense platforms, only to encounter another surprise. Small, sleek craft emerged from Earth's atmosphere, human fighters that moved with impossible agility. They intercepted the Imperial fighters, their weapons cutting through shields and armor with devastating effectiveness. "High Admiral," his science officer called out, "analysis of their weapon signatures suggests they're using controlled quantum dissolution fields. They're literally erasing our ships from existence." Vexthor's heart pounded. Quantum dissolution technology. The Empire's best scientists had theorized about such weapons, but had deemed them impossible to control. Yet here were the humans, wielding them with frightening precision. A new transmission cut through their communications. Admiral Torres appeared again, still wearing that same calm expression. "This is your final warning, High Admiral. The next salvo will target your command ships. Your empire has expanded unchecked for too long, believing itself invincible. We let you come this far to demonstrate why that belief was mistaken. Humanity has spent the last century preparing for threats like you. We've watched your empire's expansion, studied your technology, and developed countermeasures for everything you possess. Vexthor's pride warred with his tactical training. In minutes, he'd lost nearly 1,000 ships without inflicting a single casualty on the enemy. His remaining ships were scattered, their formations broken by the unexpected defense grid. "You're bluffing," he growled. "No species could advance so quickly without the Empire noticing. Look at your tactical display, High Admiral. Count how many ships you've lost to a handful of our defense platforms. Ask yourself, if this is what we show you openly, what else might we be hiding?" More platforms were materializing. Larger vessels were rising from Earth's atmosphere, warships that dwarfed even the Eternal Dominion. Their design was elegant, efficient, and radiated power that made Vexthor's scales tingle even through the vacuum of space. His tactical officer's voice shook as she reported, "High Admiral, energy readings from a single one of their capital ships exceed our entire remaining fleet's combined output." Vexthor had led the Empire's forces for 3 centuries. He conquered worlds, crushed resistance movements, and expanded Imperial territory further than any admiral before him. But he'd never encountered anything like this. "All ships," he commanded, his voice heavy with the weight of his first retreat in 300 years, "withdraw to fallback coordinates." Immediately, as the Imperial fleet began its retreat, Admiral Torres transmitted one final message. "We'll give you time to report to your Emperor, High Admiral. Make sure you tell them exactly what happened here. Earth stands ready to defend itself, and we're no longer content to simply watch your Empire's expansion from afar. Change is coming to the galaxy, whether you're prepared for it or not." The Eternal Dominion entered hyperspace with the remnants of its fleet, leaving behind the graveyard of Imperial ships and the shattered remains of Vexthor's pride. In the command center beneath Earth's surface, Admiral Torres turned to her staff. "Send word to the Council." The Empire responded exactly as predicted. "Phase 1 is complete. Begin preparations for Phase 2. The message spread through Earth's global defense network. Humanity's long wait was over. The time had come to reshape the galaxy. The Imperial Palace on Craxon Prime trembled with Emperor Zirek's rage. Holographic displays showed the devastation of the Third Fleet, nearly 1,000 ships erased from existence by a species the Empire had dismissed as primitive. High Admiral Vexthor knelt before the throne, his scales dulled with shame. "Impossible." Emperor Zirek's tail lashed against his crystalline throne. "Our intelligence network is the finest in the galaxy. How did we miss this level of technological advancement?" First Speaker Nalara, the Empire's chief scientist, stepped forward. Her diagnostic implants whirred as she analyzed the battle data. "The humans didn't just advance, Your Majesty. They leaped forward in ways that defy conventional development patterns. Their quantum dissolution weapons alone represent a technological achievement we thought centuries away." The Emperor's inner circle fell silent as new data streamed in. Human ships have been detected emerging from hyperspace at various points throughout Imperial space. Not attacking, just appearing, scanning, and vanishing before they could be engaged. "They're mapping our defense networks," Vexthor realized aloud, "just as they must have done for years before we discovered them." On Earth, the Global Defense Council convened in their underwater facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. Admiral Torres stood before the assembled leaders, her holographic presentation showing the positions of human scout ships throughout Craxon space. "The Empire is mobilizing everything they have," she reported. 7 fleets, each larger than the force we repelled. They'll attack simultaneously, thinking to overwhelm our defenses through sheer numbers. Council leader Marcus Blackwood, a veteran of Earth's first extraterrestrial conflicts, leaned forward, "And that's exactly what we wanted them to do. Activate Project Prometheus." Throughout Earth's solar system, massive structures began to power up. Artificial planets that had been hidden in dimensional pockets, each one housing weapon systems that could reshape reality itself. The culmination of a century of preparation, reverse engineering technology from dozens of crashed alien ships, and humanity's relentless drive to defend itself. The Kraxan Empire believes in overwhelming force, Torres continued. They never needed to evolve beyond that strategy because it's always worked. Until now. Deep in Imperial space, aboard the newly commissioned dreadnought Infinite Wrath, High Admiral Vex Thor prepared to launch the largest military operation in Imperial history. 7 fleets, 50,000 ships, all converging on a single target, Earth. This time, he growled to his assembled commanders, "We will not underestimate them. We attack from multiple vectors, overwhelm their defense grid, and reduce their civilization to ash." The Imperial Armada emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, surrounding Earth in a sphere of warships that blotted out the stars. But something was wrong. The defense platforms that had devastated the Third Fleet were gone. Earth hung in space, seemingly defenseless. "Hold position," Vex Thor commanded, his instincts screaming that this was wrong. "Full sensor sweep. Find their defenses." "High Admiral," his science officer called out, gravitational anomalies detected throughout the system. Massive distortions forming. The artificial planets revealed themselves, emerging from their dimensional hiding places. Each one dwarfed Earth itself, their surfaces covered in technology that defied Imperial understanding. As Vex Thor watched in horror, space itself began to warp around his fleet. Admiral Torres's voice echoed through every Imperial ship. "You should have heeded our warning, High Admiral. Initiate containment." The artificial planets activated simultaneously. Reality twisted between them, creating a vast geometric pattern that enclosed the entire Imperial fleet. Ships that tried to flee found their hyperdrives ineffective, their weapons impacting harmless against the quantum barriers forming around them. "What is this sorcery?" Emperor Zirak demanded, watching the battle through long-range sensors. "How can they control space itself?" In the Pacific facility, Torres watched the operation unfold. "The Empire built its power on fear and overwhelming force," she explained to the Council. "We built ours on patience, understanding, and the knowledge that the universe is far stranger than most species imagine." The artificial planets began to pulse with energy. Within the containment field, Imperial ships found themselves being systematically disabled, not destroyed, but rendered powerless as waves of exotic particles neutralized their technology. Vex Thor stared at his dead tactical displays. The mighty Infinite Wrath, now nothing more than an orbiting hulk. "All ships," he transmitted on emergency power, "stand down. We surrender." The containment field shimmered, and a single human ship approached the Infinite Wrath. It was smaller than the Imperial flagship, but radiated power that made the mighty dreadnought seem primitive in comparison. "A wise decision, High Admiral," Torres replied. "Now shall we discuss the future of galactic politics? Your empire has held dominion through fear for too long. Humanity believes in a different path, one of cooperation, mutual advancement, and shared prosperity. The choice is yours. Adapt to a new reality or fade into history." As escape pods launched from thousands of disabled Imperial ships, carrying crews who would rather flee than face defeat, Vex Thor realized the galaxy had changed forever. Humanity hadn't just defeated the Empire. They had rendered its entire military doctrine obsolete. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zirak received the surrender transmission. For the first time in the Empire's history, they had met a force they couldn't overwhelm, couldn't intimidate, and couldn't understand. The age of Imperial dominion was over, ended not by a superior military force, but by a species that had quietly prepared for this moment, while the Empire celebrated its own invincibility. The shield had fallen, not with a bang, but with the quiet certainty of a species that had long since surpassed its would-be conquerors. Would you like me to continue with Part 3? In the weeks following the Empire's failed invasion, humanity's true power became apparent. Earth's quantum communication network, previously hidden, activated across the galaxy. Hidden human outposts on thousands of worlds revealed themselves, each equipped with technology that made Imperial defenses obsolete. Within the Imperial Palace's war room, Emperor Zirak faced a harsh reality. Holographic displays showed human forces systematically dismantling Imperial control across dozens of systems, not through destruction, but through precision strikes that disabled Imperial technology and freed subjugated worlds. "They're not just defeating us," First Speaker Nalara observed, her scientific implants struggling to process the data. "They're rewriting the rules of warfare itself." The Emperor's mandibles clicked in frustration. "How many systems have we lost?" 23 in the past week alone. A military advisor reported. "The humans, they're offering the subjugated species protection and technological advancement. Many are declaring independence from the Empire willingly." On the bridge of the Earth vessel Prometheus, Admiral Torres coordinated the liberation campaign. The ship's quantum core hummed softly as it processed data from thousands of simultaneous operations. "Status report on Operation Daybreak," she commanded. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant James Rodriguez, brought up a detailed stellar map. Phase 3 is proceeding ahead of schedule. The Andarian system declared independence this morning. The Kethari followed an hour later. Our cultural integration teams are helping establish stable governments. Torres nodded. Humanity's strategy wasn't just about military superiority. It was about offering a better future. Each liberated world received access to clean energy technology, advanced medical care, and educational resources. The Empire's iron grip was being replaced by something unprecedented: hope. Deep within Imperial space, aboard the damaged but operational Infinite Wrath, High Admiral Vexthor received increasingly desperate reports. The Empire's traditional tactics, overwhelming force and fear, proved useless against an enemy that could simply turn their technology off. "High Admiral," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving a direct transmission from Earth Command." Admiral Torres's hologram appeared on the bridge. "High Admiral, I trust you've been monitoring the situation. We're offering the Empire one final opportunity to transition peacefully. Your reign over these worlds is ending. How it ends is up to you." Vexthor's scales rippled with suppressed rage. "You would destroy centuries of Imperial order. The galaxy needs structure, control." "No," Torres replied calmly. "It needs balance. Look at what we've achieved in just weeks. Worlds that your empire suppressed are already developing their own solutions to problems your scientists claimed were unsolvable. The Andarians have created sustainable fusion using technology we shared. The Kethari are terraforming dead worlds. This is the future we envisioned. Species working together, advancing together." In Earth's underwater facility, the Global Defense Council reviewed the campaign's progress. Holographic displays showed former Imperial worlds transforming as human technology catalyzed rapid advancement. Council leader Blackwood addressed the assembly. "For a century, we prepared not just to defend ourselves, but to reshape the galaxy. The Empire's attack wasn't just repelled. It was the key that unlocked humanity's grand strategy." Meanwhile, on the liberated world of Andaria, something remarkable was happening. Former Imperial subjects worked alongside human scientists, combining their unique perspectives with Earth's advanced technology. In days, they achieved what the Empire had deemed impossible for centuries. "This is what the Empire feared most," Torres explained to her crew as they observed the collaboration. "Not our weapons or our defenses, but our ability to unite species, to show them a path beyond conquest and subjugation." The Infinite Wrath's sensors detected another wave of human ships emerging from hyperspace. But these weren't warships. They were research vessels, medical ships, and cultural exchange craft. The Empire's greatest nightmare was unfolding. Their subjects were choosing to leave, drawn by the promise of genuine advancement. Vexthor watched as another system slipped from Imperial control. The humans weren't just winning a war. They were making the very concept of the Empire obsolete. Each liberated world became a beacon, attracting others to break free from Imperial control. In the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zirak received an ultimatum. The holographic message played before his entire court. Earth was offering amnesty to any imperial world that chose peaceful transition. Those that clung to the old ways would find themselves isolated, their technology neutralized, until their people chose a new path. Your empire was built on the belief that strength comes from dominance. Taurus's message concluded. We're showing the galaxy a different kind of strength, one built on cooperation, mutual respect, and shared progress. The choice is yours, but the future is already written. As the message ended, reports flooded in of more worlds declaring independence. The Empire's mighty fleets, once the galaxy's most feared force, sat powerless in space, their crews watching as humanity's vision of the future unfolded around them. First speaker Nalara, studying the data from liberated worlds, turned to Emperor Zirak. The humans, they didn't just surpass us technologically. They evolved beyond our entire concept of civilization. We thought we were the pinnacle of advancement, but we were standing still while they leaped forward. The counterstrike wasn't won with weapons, but with ideas. Humanity had spent a century not just preparing for war, but preparing to transform the galaxy itself. As former imperial worlds embraced their newfound freedom, the age of empire crumbled not under the weight of superior firepower, but through the irresistible appeal of progress and unity. On Crexen Prime, the imperial capital world that had stood unconquered for millennia, panic spread through the crystalline spires of the noble districts. The Empire's defeat wasn't just military, it was philosophical. Centuries of cultural superiority crumbled as reports from liberated worlds showed species achieving in days what imperial science had failed to accomplish in generations. Emperor Zirak stood in his private observatory, watching as his empire disintegrated. The quantum communications network humanity had unveiled allowed instant coordination across the galaxy, and former imperial subjects were using it to share knowledge, resources, and dreams of independence. Your Majesty, first speaker Nalara entered, her diagnostic implants processing vast amounts of data. We've detected a massive human fleet approaching Crexen space. But something's different about this one. The fleet that appeared above Crexen Prime defied imperial understanding. Led by the Earth vessel Ascendant Dawn, it wasn't a collection of warships, but a flotilla of scientific vessels, cultural exchange ships, and diplomatic craft. At its center was a massive station, a mobile university, capable of teaching millions simultaneously. Admiral Taurus's voice reached every corner of the capital. People of Crexen Prime, we come not to conquer, but to share. Your empire's strength was built on keeping others weak. We offer something different, the chance to be part of a galaxy where all species rise together. In orbit, the mobile university deployed, its quantum processors connecting with minds across the planet. Imperial citizens found themselves able to access Earth's complete scientific and cultural database, experiencing centuries of human achievement and innovation in moments. High Admiral Vexthor, watching from the infinite wrath, saw his crew transfixed by the knowledge streaming through their neural interfaces. They're not destroying our culture, he realized. They're transforming it. The transformation of Crexen Prime became a spectacle that rippled across the galaxy. Imperial scientists, long constrained by rigid hierarchies and traditional thinking, found themselves collaborating with humans and other species. The results were extraordinary. In the Imperial Academy of Sciences, young Crexen researchers worked alongside human mentors, combining their species' natural affinity for crystalline technology with Earth's quantum engineering. Within days, they achieved breakthroughs that the Empire's best minds have pursued for centuries. This is what we prepared for, Torres explained to Council Leader Blackwood via quantum link, not just to defeat them, but to show them a better way. The Empire's greatest weapon was ignorance, keeping their subjects and even their own people from realizing their full potential. The mobile university became a symbol of this new era. Species that had been enemies under imperial rule now studied together, sharing insights and building technologies that benefited all. The crystalline spires of Crexen Prime, once symbols of imperial might, were repurposed as transmission nodes for the quantum network, connecting the former imperial capital to the galaxy-wide exchange of knowledge. Emperor Zirak, watching his world transform, faced a choice that would define his species' future. First speaker, he addressed Nalara. What do your analyses show? The humans. She paused, her implants processing the overwhelming data. They've achieved what our legends spoke of. They've united technology and consciousness in ways our ancestors only dreamed of, and they're offering to share it all. In Earth's underwater facility, the Council reviewed the final phase of their century-long plan. Holographic displays showed the transformation spreading across former Imperial space, not through force, but through the irresistible appeal of progress and unity. We spent 100 years preparing for this moment, Blackwood reflected. Not just developing technology, but understanding how to use it to heal rather than harm. The Empire built walls. We're building bridges. On Kraxin Prime, a historic moment approached. Emperor Zirak, last absolute ruler of the Kraxin Empire, stood before the combined representatives of Earth and the liberated worlds. The ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy through the quantum network. For 10,000 years, my ancestors ruled through strength, Zirak began, his voice carrying the weight of history. Today, I have seen a different kind of strength, one that lifts all species toward the light of knowledge and cooperation. The Emperor removed his crown, its crystalline structure catching the light of Kraxin's sun. The Empire as we knew it ends today. In its place, we choose to join humanity's vision of a united galaxy, where strength comes not from dominance, but from the sharing of wisdom and the pursuit of common progress. Admiral Torres stepped forward, accepting the crown not as a symbol of conquest, but as an artifact to be preserved in the new Galactic Museum of Cultural Heritage. Your people won't lose their identity, she assured him. They'll find their true potential, as all species do when freed from the chains of fear and isolation. The heart of the Empire hadn't been conquered, it had been transformed. As the mobile university's quantum processors hummed with the exchange of knowledge, as former enemies became colleagues and friends, as breakthroughs in science and culture emerged from unprecedented cooperation, the galaxy witnessed the birth of something entirely new. The Age of Empires was over. The Age of Unity had begun. 5 years after the transformation of Kraxin Prime, the galaxy had become unrecognizable to those who knew it during the Imperial era. The quantum network that humanity had unveiled now connected thousands of worlds, creating a civilization that transcended traditional boundaries of species and space. In the Great Hall of Unity, constructed in Earth's orbit as a symbol of the new galactic order, representatives from hundreds of species gathered for the 5th anniversary of what historians now called the Great Awakening. The station's crystalline architecture, a collaboration between human and Kraxin designers, captured the light of distant stars, creating an ever-changing display of cosmic beauty. Admiral Torres, now serving as Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, stood at the observation deck, watching ships from across the galaxy dock at the massive station. Each vessel represented a different species, a different culture, all now part of something greater than themselves. Did you ever imagine it would work this well? Former Emperor Zirak, now the Kraxin representative for scientific advancement, approached her. His scales had brightened over the years, reflecting the optimism that had replaced imperial pride. We hoped, Torres replied. But the reality has exceeded even our most optimistic projections. Look at what we've achieved together. Holographic displays throughout the hall showcased the achievements of the past 5 years. The Andarians had combined their biological expertise with human quantum technology to cure diseases that had plagued multiple species for generations. The Kethary's understanding of stellar engineering, enhanced by Earth's computational systems, had allowed them to stabilize dying stars and save countless inhabited worlds. Most remarkably, the Kraxin themselves had undergone a renaissance. Their natural affinity for crystalline technology, freed from the constraints of imperial doctrine, had led to breakthroughs in quantum communication that strengthened the galactic network beyond anything humanity had initially designed. In what was once the Imperial Palace, now transformed into the Galactic Institute of Advanced Studies, High Admiral Vexthor, now Dean of Strategic Sciences, mentored students from across the galaxy. The military precision that had once made him a fearsome commander now served to organize collaborative research projects that pushed the boundaries of known science. The Empire's greatest mistake, he often told his students, wasn't underestimating humanity's technology. It was failing to understand that true power comes from lifting others up, not holding them down. On Earth, the underwater facility that had housed the Defense Council for over a century had been repurposed. Its quantum computers now coordinated scientific research across thousands of worlds, processing data from millions of simultaneous experiments and innovations. Council leader Blackwood, approaching retirement, sat in his office reviewing reports from across the galaxy. Each one told a story of cooperation, advancement, and discovery. "We prepared for war," he mused to his AI assistant, "but we achieved peace through understanding." The quantum network had evolved beyond its original design, becoming a living repository of galactic knowledge. Species that had once been bitter enemies now shared their histories, their art, their dreams. The network didn't just transmit data. It created connections between minds and hearts across the vast expanses of space. In the Andarian system, massive bioengineering facilities developed cures for diseases that had once decimated entire populations. Keth, Ari scientists worked alongside human quantum physicists to unlock the secrets of dimensional engineering. On Kraxin Prime, the crystalline spires now house the greatest library of scientific knowledge ever assembled. Admiral Torres addressed the gathered representatives in the Great Hall. 5 years ago, we stood at a crossroads. The Empire believed that civilization required control, that progress came through dominance. We showed them, and the galaxy, a different path. She gestured to the holographic displays showing real-time data from across known space. "Look at what we've achieved together. Diseases cured, stars stabilized, new dimensions explored. Not through competition, but through cooperation. Not through fear, but through understanding." Former Emperor Zirak stepped forward. The Empire stood for 10,000 years, and in all that time, we achieved less than what we have in these 5 years of unity. We thought we were preserving order. Instead, we were stifling the greatest power in the universe. The ability of different minds to work together, to see problems from new angles, to combine diverse perspectives into solutions no single species could imagine. The celebration in the Great Hall marked more than an anniversary. It marked the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. The quantum network pulsed with the combined knowledge and creativity of 1,000 species. Research stations orbited distant stars, staffed by teams that transcended old rivalries and prejudices. The boundaries between species blurred as shared knowledge and understanding created bridges across the gaps of biology and culture. In the end, humanity's greatest weapon hadn't been their advanced technology or their military preparation. It had been their vision of a united galaxy, where strength came from diversity, where progress meant lifting everyone together, where the future was written not by the powerful few, but by the combined efforts of all. As the celebrations continued, a new ship emerged from Earth's shipyards, the Hope Ascendant, the first vessel designed and built through the combined efforts of 20 different species. It represented everything the New Order stood for: unity, progress, and the endless possibilities that arose when beings chose to work together rather than against each other. The new dawn had arrived, and its light reached every corner of the galaxy, promising not an end, but a beginning. The start of an age where the only limits were those of imagination, and the only boundaries were those of the universe itself. The end.